Thought Bubble Audio.
Hey everyone, before we start today's show, this is Frank.
And this is Tim.
We just really quickly wanted to say we recorded the episode you're about to hear before all of the civil unrest that's been happening in the United States and across the world the last couple of weeks in the wake of the murder of George Floyd. And we just wanted to say that while we're about to talk about, things that don't really matter ultimately in the big picture, our favorite sci-fi and superheroes and movies and all that fun stuff, we did want to take a minute and talk about something that absolutely does matter. As many people have known for a long time, and as now many more people are seeing with their own eyes firsthand, America has a racism problem. America has a policing problem, and there are a lot of people who are protesting and who are working actively to offer up solutions to those problems. And we felt it was important that we come on here and just say that we stand with you. We believe Black Lives Matter. We are appalled at the things that we're seeing. And, Tim, I think you join me in saying that we don't have the same lived experience that Black Americans do. And so we can't speak from our own experience, but we can try and learn, right? And that's what we've been trying to do over the last couple of weeks. As people who are trying to learn, we're going to throw some links in the show notes to some resources that if you also would like to do some reading or listen to some podcasts or watch a series on Netflix or a movie, there's actually a really great list, a Google Doc list, bit.ly/anti-racism resources is awesome for that. That is a great list that's being maintained of great resources. And then if you want to think of other ways that you can help, whether that's through donations or signing petitions, or even just learning how to protest effectively, you can check out Black Lives Matters. That's matters with an S. blacklivesmatters.card.co. Both of these links will be in the show notes. But just wanted to offer that up as a resource.
Frank, I think one of the big takeaways, I think even just for listeners of Beer with Geeks and for Supergirl TV Talk, because those are the two shows that we do together, is that we talk so much about our favorite superheroes and our favorite heroes and stories and heroes' journeys and narratives and all this stuff. But I don't think those mean anything if you don't take the big lesson out of each of them, and that is to stand up and do the right thing when you're called upon to do it. And, why love superheroes if you don't believe in what they stand for, for equality and justice and fair treatment for all. And so if it's, we're not going out there and wearing capes, but we are wearing our masks, Frank. and I think that, if you do love these genre pieces that we love, so that Frank and I love so much, that we have to start kind of living them the way that they're meant to teach us. Superman doesn't sit on his couch when things are going bad. Superman does what Superman does. And if you have to sit on your couch, there are still ways to help. There are still ways to learn. Not everybody has to go out into the streets with a sign. But there's that wonderful little GIF going around, the little video where it's did you see that the Avengers Endgame one where it's Cap in the portals and it's Cap's protesters, and then the other people, and then Black Panther and Shuri come out, and it's like people who donate and people who do this and people who do that, and everybody gathers together. The Amish is Doctor Strange, and everybody gathers in the way that they can to fight social injustice in all of its forms. And so just because you can't lift a car over your head or fly to the moon doesn't mean that you can't contribute to the well-being of humans.
That's right.
And so you said, we talk about these things that ultimately don't matter, but we do mean that Black Lives Matter, right? Yes. And we really believe that with all of our hearts. And so, so it's important to do what people do best, and that's care for one another and show that you care for one another in a lot of ways. In those ways that you can contribute to, Frank talked about, there are links in the show notes.
In whatever way you can help, just know that it really does count. It really does matter. This is a really important time, and it's important that we all stand up for what we believe in. So I hope those resources are helpful. And if nothing else, if you need sort of a mental health break, because it's a lot of very serious things are happening very, very quickly, and it can be a lot for the human minds to handle. Just remember that a lot of people don't get to have that break because it's just their life. It's just their lived experience every day. But if the podcast that you're about to listen to is a little levity in your day, then we hope that that's helpful. But check out those resources. Do your part. Do what you can. We're all just trying to do our best here. So without further ado, shall we start the show?
Yes, sir. That would be lovely.
Look, up in the sky!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Welcome to Beer with Geeks with Tim and Frank.
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
I am Iron Man.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
You're a wizard, Harry.
A couple of guys with a couple of beers and a whole lot of pop culture nostalgia.
Make it so, number one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
Name the dog in the animal.
Life finds a way.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Now sit back and crack open a cold one, because it's time for Beer with Geeks.
It comes in pints?
Shaken, not stirred.
Great Scott!
I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
Hi, and welcome to Beer with Geeks, where two geeks geek out with beer. I'm Tim, and with me, as always, is my man who loves a good Keanu. It's Frank. How are you today?
I am Keanu. I am Count Keanu.
Ooh, Count
the
Keanu.
Fourth.
The fourth. Wow.
Yeah, because I can count.
Because you... Okay.
Okay, you're cut off.
Okay.
You're
no
cut off,
more.
Count Keanu. You're
No
done.
more. You're done, Count Keanu. I can't be here with you anymore.
How are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. I'm okay. We are still podcasting, and that's the important thing, Frank.
That's right. That's right. They can't stop us.
No, they sure can't. Oh my goodness, what a day!
I did see that. In some areas, anyway. I think in California in particular, podcasting is considered an essential business. So there you go.
Well, I guess it's an entertainment. I guess if it is like
media,
an entertainment,
right? Yeah, I think they were talking more about like other kinds of media, but sure, we'll go with that. We're essential.
Yeah, we're essential. I mean,
yeah,
Frank,
totally.
I mean, to my mom, I'm essential, I guess.
Sure.
Right? Yeah, and
Yeah.
to I don't know, my cat. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we can justify this. No problem.
Yeah, you're essential to me. There you go.
You go.
How's that? Frank, what are you drinking today? / would you like to tell the good people about your beer experiments?
I would, and that is actually why I have chosen this beer for today. So you are.
Oh,
ahead
I'm
of
right
me.
on. Oh, yes.
You're right on. You're right on. So yeah, I'm drinking a Notch Brewing Loggerhead Bavarian Dopplebock. It is. It's actually very, very delicious. It is a like very full-bodied, full-strength German style Bock. It's like a Shiner Bock or like that style of beer. It's a Doppelbock. It's double. 7% ABV. It is. It's delicious on its own, and I love it already. But I had seen Notch is a local brewery, local to me, and I followed them on Instagram, and I had seen this very strange thing that they kept posting on their Instagram story, where they were sharing people who were customers of theirs putting hot irons into their beer, into this beer in particular, the Loggerhead. So I Googled it to see what the heck was going on. And it turns out that a Loggerhead is a hot poker, usually a stainless steel poker, that you take off the fire, straight off of like a campfire, and you stick it in the beer, in this case. Apparently it used to be used in like pubs and things to make hot toddies and things like that. But if you stick it in a beer, it makes it sort of foam up. It creates like a head on top, and it caramelizes the malt, the sugars in the beer to create a new flavor. So you're very, very quickly heating up the beer, and it makes this caramelized flavor. So you get this sort of caramelly, dark chocolatey flavor that gets infused into the beer, and it's so good. So I tried it. I didn't have a campfire. I didn't have the bespoke rod you're supposed to use, but I saw someone else had taken their cast iron skillet and heated it up over the gas stove and then stuck the handle of the skillet into the beer. So that's exactly what I did, and it worked great. It was delicious. It was really, really cool as like a science experiment. I took a video of it that I'll throw in the show notes if anybody wants to see it. But it was so neat and so delicious. And then I've been reading since, ever since I posted on Instagram, people have been asking, like, what is this? How did you do this? Like, can I do it? Apparently people do it with like stouts and other beers as well. So, I mean, proceed with caution. If you want to do it, like, be very, very, very careful and make sure not to burn yourself. Take all the proper precautions. But I tried it. I really liked it. So if you want to try it, I'm interested to hear what anyone else tries it with and how the results are. But if you just Google like Loggerhead, or beer hot metal or whatever, you'll find it.
That sounds delicious, and I wish I had a beer like that, because I have a cast iron skillet, so I could do the experiment with any beer that's in my fridge, I guess. But I'd want to try it specifically with the one that, you know what I mean? I want to try it with the one that you recommend, because you're my friend and I trust your recommendations.
Sure. Oh, thank you. That's foolish of you.
What is this friendship built upon, if not foolishness, Frank?
Foolishness and beer. Speaking of beer, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a Pig's Ear Brown Ale from the Woodstock Inn Brewery in New Hampshire.
I definitely have tried that.
Yeah, I actually haven't opened it yet because I was finishing off a seltzer but your story was actually long enough that I was able to finish off my seltzer and be prepared to drink this, so it worked out perfectly.
You're welcome.
Oh, and so it says, if it looks like a pig and squeals like a pig, double check before pouring into a glass. If you're lucky, it's our smooth, nutty brown ale. If not, well, it just trails off there. So, so I'm just going to try this. Ooh, that's very good.
If I remember correctly, it's kind of, it's like other like sort of nut brown ales, right? I mean, isn't it?
Yeah, I would not say that it's the most distinct.
Okay.
It's certainly not the most distinct brown ale I've ever had, but it's kind of light for a brown ale.
Interesting.
It's like veering towards lager.
Very interesting.
Yeah, but it's good. It's definitely nutty. It's a bit nutty. Yeah.
Bit nutty. Not naughty, nutty.
So, no, that's good, though. That's real good.
Nice.
I enjoy that.
I do like a brown ale. I feel like they're not the most popular, for sure, but I'm into them.
Why aren't they the most popular, Frank? Like,
That's a great question.
Is it because it's one or the other? Is that maybe like is it a one or the other type of thing?
I think it's just that they're not super popular in the U.S. Like it's I guess it's like an English style, right?
Sure.
And I don't know that we have a lot of English style beers that have really caught hold here. I feel like the ones that you've either got like the IPAs obviously are like probably the most popular, and then you've got like your lagers or your cervezas,
cerveza. Now, Frank, the Woodstock Inn Brewery is very special to us. I don't know if you know this, but we went there as part of my bachelor party tour.
Yes. Yes, that's why I recognized the
we
beer.
stayed when we went to go stay. You're like, that sounds so familiar.
That's
because
right.
we've actually been there to that
We went
place.
there. That's why. That's right.
Yes. Yeah. We you, myself, and two of our friends. Hello, Damon and Dan. Damon introduced us to this lovely.
That's right.
Introduced us to this lovely place. I've been a couple times, and actually, I didn't even buy Pig's Ear because it was Woodstock Inn. It's actually really just a happy coincidence. I was like, "Oh, yeah, brown ale. I want to try that."
Well, there you go.
And it just happens to have shared memories of like our real life friendships and stuff. So that's very exciting.
Love
that
it. And that was
a connection I didn't expect to make.
That was a great connection. Well done.
Well, you said like that sounds familiar, and I was like, it does sound familiar. And so I
feel like I've been to that brewery. When did I go there?
I feel like I've been there, and I've in fact been there several times.
There you go.
If you live in the New Hampshire area, more specifically the North Woodstock area of New Hampshire, like North Conway, area, then check it out. Delicious food. The food was so
yeah,
good.
very good. Very good. Yeah, we sat outsy, right? Like, yeah, I remember this. now.
Yeah. What a time to be alive when we could sit outside eating food at a restaurant. Woo boy.
Crazy times.
Crazy times. Frank, we're here to talk about the one, the only Keanu Reeves. I saw this. This was going around on Twitter a while back. I think it was comicbook.com. I just kind of put out Keanu Reeves, and they were like, yo, if Keanu Reeves could be in an intellectual property, if he could be in the Avengers, if he could be in the X-Men, if he could be such and such, like, who would he be to you, the one and the only? And so I said, oh, that's fun. Let's actually do this on the show. And so I've assembled 10 IPs, 10 intellectual properties, like copyright and characters or families or whatever. And I'm going to give you one, and we'll decide on who we want Keanu Reeves to play in that world, in that little universe, because his name is always attached to these big projects. Like people are like, oh, you should get Keanu Reeves. Oh, you should get Keanu Reeves. Oh, you should do this, and he's never in them. So
right.
Yeah.
What's the biggest, other than like The Matrix, which was its own thing? What's the biggest
Constantine?
Oh, sure. Yes,
I'm going to say
yes,
Constantine is probably like the biggest like comic book thing that he's been in, which is
the
hilarious
biggest like
because
franchise.
John Constantine is like a blonde British punk rocker, and Keanu Reeves is none of those things.
It's such a it feels like such a holdover from like 20th century style of casting. Like, let's get a big movie star. It doesn't matter if he looks nothing, if he's nothing like the character. Let's just get a big name.
Yep, literally nothing like the character. Keanu Reeves is like quiet and brooding, and I guess Constantine is some of those things, but he just wasn't John Constantine.
Right.
But when I saw that movie, I didn't know that, because that was my introduction to the character. But on retrospect,
and that's what they were counting on.
That's right. But also goes to show they really went in the opposite direction over that. Like, remember his cabbie was Shia LaBeouf? Like, his best friend was like 18-year-old Shia LaBeouf. Like, why are you friends? Why are you together?
Why is this happening?
Sense. Oh man, what a time! Ugh, it's a whole. We can go back and talk about weird choices made by comic book movies early on. That's a different,
for sure.
That is a different conversation for a different day. So anyway, I'm gonna give you some IPs, and we'll discuss them. Who we think he'd be the best fit for. You can choose a hero or a villain,
right?
No matter what I say. So the first one is the Superman. I'm going to say the Superman family, but that includes anybody that has ever existed in a Superman comic, unless they have their own branch of character, like Green Lantern or Flash or whatever, or something like that.
Right, yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's start with Superman, the very first superhero, your favorite, my second favorite. Let's start there and say, who should Keanu Reeves play in a Superman movie? In like the super fam,
I would. Okay, so if he was going to play I could see him playing a villain for sure. I could see him as like I guess I'm getting tripped up on like the look, right? So like I could see him as like a Brainiac.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I could see it. Mm-hmm.
But the more humanoid kind of
Yes.
Brainiac, right? But I really would like to see him if I got to see him as like a Lex and like the hair notwithstanding, I feel like he could play the role quite well. I don't think he'd have the look down, right? So you'd have to do something about that. The other thing that comes to mind is, and he's a little old for this, but like a Superboy Prime type of character.
That did cross my mind. Yeah, because this is Keanu now of 2020.
Right. So
yeah.
he's obviously too old to play Superboy Prime. But I would be really interested to have seen that 20 years ago or something.
Sure. I could combat that with he could play Ultraman from the Crime Syndicate.
Yes, that's interesting. Yes.
Yeah. I in my brain thought of Cyborg Superman because you'd only need to see like a little bit of his face.
That's true. That's true.
And but he'd like have this kind. He kind of like looks sad.
Yeah.
Keanu's sad. He's got sad puppy eyes.
There's a whole meme about it. Sad Keanu.
Right. So I think
we're sitting on the park bench.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. I think you could like really play into that if you wanted to. And so, plus, I think he's come a long way as an actor to really be like, oh yeah, I could do this, or like Eradicator, even because there can be robot-ish, right. Like more, even toned.
Yes.
Keanu.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
I could see either one. I don't know.
I could see those. I don't know that I could see him as a Superman family like hero or protagonist.
I'm Mon-El. Yeah,
that's it, right? Like, yeah, maybe Mon-El, but like an old Mon-El, or like a Kryptonian or something. But like, I don't know who. Oh, what if he was Zod?
I did think about Zod. It did strike me, but I don't think he has that like general gravitas. No, I don't think he is. I don't think he's that menacing. I think he is when he's doing stuff.
But
like
even so, I feel like he's.
Go ahead.
I feel like Keanu though is more of a toned down like he's not the maniacal like madman menacing. He's more of the like quietly evil like genius menacing, which is why I saw him more as a Lex. But there could be a Zod angle there. Depends.
I don't know.
Different interpretation.
I think about Keanu saying like, "I will find him," or
right. I know.
Zod, or it just doesn't. He doesn't strike me. No, there's no bombastism there, and that's what I think.
Yes.
Like sometimes there needs to be in some Superman villains. Their emotions are sometimes as tough as their powers. So, which I could see a Brainiac angle for in that case.
That's sort of where that was headed towards, but it would be a different take for sure.
Indeed. Let's move on to the Batman family. This is a little bit more of Keanu's wheelhouse because I think so. Like his physicality, John Wick, that Matrix, that kind of thing. Yeah. I landed on Talon, the Court of Owls, because I think that it would be like you could really see like Batman and Keanu like letting loose, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like really let them go for it. Give me the warehouse fight from BVS, but Keanu Reeves and Batman.
I had two thoughts immediately spring to mind for Batman. One would be Nightwing.
Yep. He definitely would be an older Nightwing. Side. Yep.
Older Nightwing, yes, for sure.
I actually have a new thought about that.
Okay. And then on the evil side of the spectrum, Scarecrow.
Ooh, that's an interesting choice. That's right. He's got that real. He'd be a like physical Scarecrow, that we normally wouldn't see. But I dig that. I dig that a lot. That's an interesting choice. That's one that if it came out, I'd be like, huh. That's what you're doing, huh?
It's the kind of thing that the internet would be like, I am protesting this movie, and then we'd see it and we'd be like, all right, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah, that was different. That was different than
Michael
I expected.
Keaton,
and I think I
no
liked
way.
It. Yes, exactly. I thought actually because you said older Dick Grayson, because we forget that Keanu is funny. I think that like Bill and Ted, like he does have good comedic timing. I think that he would be, if you were to make an an adult Damian Wayne movie where he's Batman and he's like looking back on his past. I think he would make a great Damian Wayne. That would be cool. I would watch that.
That'd be very cool. Yes.
Yeah, and you could really let him like, because then he'd be like, all right, do the John Wick thing, but be Batman. That would be.
But be Batman. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
He could be Batman, but just not Bruce, right? It would have to be
right.
Right. Yeah. Someone else.
Yeah,
from
he's
the,
not.
from
He's
the
not a
family.
Bruce Wayne. No. He's not Bruce Wayne.
No,
he just doesn't have it. It's not what he's built for.
Or at least we've never seen him do that, right? Like, so it's just
Right.
not something that I've ever seen him really attempt to be the sort of suave playboy type. I've just never.
I'm sure
he's done it.
could
I don't
do
know
it.
that I've seen it. I'm sure he can.
I'm sure he could, but I don't really want to see it. I think I would have a problem only seeing Keanu Reeves. Sometimes that's a problem when they play, like, sometimes if the name is too big to play the lead, you're like, I'm just looking at Keanu Reeves playing this character as opposed to.
And with such an iconic character like Bruce Wayne, I think that would be really hard to overlook, right? It just it'd be too distracting. I mean, honestly, to a certain extent, Ben Affleck had that, where he's such a big name that it's like, I mean, he's a great actor, but I was like, but this is Batman, but this is Ben Affleck, but this is Batman, but this is. Whereas people seeing, Christopher Reeve for the first time were like, didn't know who he was, so it just worked.
Right, exactly. This is not strictly within the Bat family, but Keanu now would be a good Deathstroke.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. Or if you really wanted to if you really wanted to go deeper into that, he'd be a good Deadshot. He would be he'd be a good Kane. Like any of those like mercenary type characters.
Yeah.
I think he'd be good at all of those. Yeah. Actually, yeah. Keanu Reeves is Deadshot. That actually feels like a wasted opportunity now.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, could you see him with his little mustache? It would be so good. All right.
It really would be.
All right, we're veering into outer space here. Green Lantern. Who would Keanu be in the Green Lantern universe?
I was thinking about this one in advance, and I've really been struggling with this because he's too old for Kyle Rayner, but that's the closest. That's the closest of the 2814 of the Earth Green Lanterns.
15 years ago,
fit.
he would have been an amazing Kyle Rayner,
right?
Yeah,
right. Like years ago, he would have been. He's too old for it now because Kyle is typically a younger character, and I don't think he's quite got the Hal Jordan energy, or the Guy Gardner energy.
No, I would laugh at that choice if they were like,
right.
Keanu Reeves is Guy Gardner. I'd be like, what are you doing?
No
over
way.
there?
No way. That's about as laughable as him being Constantine. Like it's just so out of out of character as written. So for the Earth Green Lanterns, the closest I would say is Kyle, right? Like I just don't see
Absolutely. Well,
unless you're gonna have him be like Abin Sur or.
No, I went in the villain direction, and I went for Black Hand.
Cool.
Blackest Night, all of that stuff. That's where I went. That like kind of angsty, dark. Like I gotta. Like that Keanu. That's where I went with it. That made the most sense to me. But truthfully, I don't really think he belongs in the Green Lantern universe. That's like where That's where I landed. So let's go to the Justice League in general. I have two more DCs. I have Justice League and Justice Society. So hold out on your Justice Society people, your World War II peeps. Justice League, anywhere, hero, villain, anywhere else in the DC universe, basically. Where does Keanu belong?
I mean, for like the comedic side, I would love to see him do like a Ralph Dibny.
Yeah,
or someone a little,
Man.
Or Plastic Man, like a little bit of a lighter-hearted, like one of those guys. For a villain, maybe like a Vandal Savage, or
he would be a cool Vandal Savage,
right? A different physicality to
coolness.
him, but it would be really cool. Yeah.
I just always think of like So if I want to watch, because you watch Keanu Reeves to kind of like watch him unload on people, right? You know what I mean? Like watch him take on all these people. It's going to be amazing because that's what he does. I would love to watch Keanu Reeves as Vandal Savage unload on people. Been like,
Right.
I've got thousands of years of fighting techniques in my brain, in my body. Let's do this. Like,
Right.
That would be cool.
Yes.
That would be so cool.
Yeah. Maybe even like a Maxwell Lord.
Yeah, I thought Maxwell Lord too. That he did pop into my brain. I actually veered away from him just because like he's coming up in Wonder Woman. So I was
yeah.
you know. So I just
Fair.
I just kept that. Not that that really matters here, but I just kind of kept that at bay. I went in a weird direction and I went for the Question.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I love
that
that.
would be-
That's great.
I thought that would be cool. I thought that would just
that would be very cool.
because he doesn't even you don't even need to see his face to know that he's cool. You know, that's
Right,
the
right.
whole point. All right, what about the Justice Society? Like, you know, your old school Flashes and your Green Lanterns and you know all those fun people. I went for Hawkman. That was my
Oh, good one.
totally see Keanu being like, I'm a fun archaeologist, but now I'm going to smash your face in with this mace and wings. That would be fun.
That's better than what I would have said. Because I was thinking more of like, maybe he'd be like, like an Alan Scott or, you know, like I could see him like we're talking about Green Lanterns. Like maybe that's just about the only Green Lantern.
maybe it's Alan Scott.
Maybe that's the answer. But yeah, I don't know, and I mean, Justice Society villains. Trying to think about who their villains.
I vaguely remember a long time ago his name being flown around for Black Adam. But I just don't think he has the like the shoulder.
He's not big
depth.
enough. He's
No.
not big. He's not a big enough dude. You know.
Mm-mm.
Not that
No,
he's
and I
not in
don't
good
think that
shape or anything,
always
but just that
matters,
he's not
but,
like.
But
a
for
big
somebody
hulking
like
figure.
Black Adam, it really matters.
It's important. It's important for Black Adam.
Yeah. He'd probably be a pretty decent Dr. Fate.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
What about Wildcat?
Oh, he'd be great Wildcat.
Right?
That's it. That's the money right there. Mm-hmm. He'd be a great Wildcat. Aging, former boxer. Yeah, that's good. I like that
Right?
a lot.
That's good.
Yeah, Wildcat, you can get away with not being like, you know, the hulking boxer, right?
That's right. Yeah. No, Black Adam. It's
a-
Black Adam is literally a mythic figure, so he needs to sort of have that. But you can get away with it for Wildcat.
Yep. Oh, that's good. All right. Let's switch universes and head over to the Marvel Universe. In the Spider-Man world, in the Spider-Man family, who would Keanu Reeves play?
So again, this was one that I struggled with. I don't see him as being any of the Spider-Men.
Nope.
I mean, like maybe somewhere
aging Peter Parker. He might be able to do it. He's got that kind of like quality, but I'd still be like, you're Keanu. You're Keanu.
He's kind of too cool. Like Peter Parker is too much of like a loser. You know, do you know what I mean? And I mean that in the most loving
way
sense,
possible.
obviously.
I know exactly what you mean. Mm-hmm.
But Keanu's too cool for that.
I landed on Kraven the Hunter.
Oh yeah, that's the answer right there.
Oh yeah,
that's the money.
Yep, Dad watched that 100% because I would believe that he could do all of that. You just watch him be Kraven. I'm like, oh yeah, that's all Keanu. Mm-hmm.
Just give him a widow's peak and he's good. You know, like
he's got it. Yep, he's got it. Yep, he's rocking that open shirt, no shirt lion vest. Go for it.
He could pull off a Norman Osborn before the fall.
Yes, I thought that too. He is kind of cool. Like he's got that kind of magnetism that Norman requires, but
you know what? You could do a Norman Osborn, but like a Norman Osborn who's like a startup CEO, right? So he's more like, sure, he's like 50, but he's 50 and the CEO of like an Oscorp that's more like a Google or a Facebook of the present day, right? So he's like well-dressed, young, fit, good-looking guy who's a CEO of an Oscorp that's more like that rather than the Oscorp that we usually see that's like more like a, you know, multinational conglomerate type of thing, more of like a forward-looking tech company version of Oscorp.
Yep.
startup style, that I could see him if you just pivot that a little bit, you know.
I could see that. You're basically describing the Lex Luthor of BVS.
Yeah, sort of. Yes. Yeah.
In a way, just
or
older,
like
but,
real
but,
life, or like real life Mark Zuckerberg, maybe. Yeah.
or real life. Yeah, or Jeff Bezos or
you know,
something
evil
like that.
evil CEO. Yeah, Jeff Bezos, just evil CEO being evil.
Yeah. He's the best. Anyway. Yeah. Okay. I also thought of characters like the Scorpion or something like that, or Chameleon or anything like that, but it just none of those seem to fit exactly. But I like Kraven, and I like that version of Norman. I'd like to see that. What about the Avengers, just generally speaking, like your generic Avengers, your anybody? I have more Marvel properties after this, but they're a little more expansive.
Hawkeye?
Yeah, he'd be a good Hawkeye. Yeah, he would be. Mm-hmm.
Just recast Renner. Just
yeah.
Just do it, guys. Just go. Just
do it. Yeah.
Just do the show with Keanu, and we'll be good. Put on Disney Plus, we'll be happy.
Yeah. I put Wonder Man on there just because we have not seen Wonder Man really show up before, but I think he is missing that kind of bulk that some part of Wonder Man requires.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm actually good for recasting Hawkeye. Just there you go. All right, Keanu. I'd actually believe that he was dangerous. That's good. Anyway, wow, our feelings about Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye came out of nowhere. Apparently,
a lot of latent underlying, like
apparently. This is not your favorite franchise in Marvel, but we'll see how you do with the X-Men. Yeah, I struggle with this one a little bit. I'll tell you, I landed on Havoc, who is the brother of Cyclops. He's a little cool, but he's not like got to follow the rules because I'm a type A kind of guy. He's more the type B of the family unit. But I could see I could see him playing off of that pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say I could see him as a Scott Summers. I could see him as a Cyclops. Again, a bit old for how the character's usually portrayed. Sorry, Keanu.
I mean, he's 55. I mean, it's not late,
and he looks damn good too. By the way,
I know. I don't know. Speaking of looks really good, I assumed you watched this is weeks ago now, but the Sondheim 90th birthday thing.
Yes.
Bernadette Peters, 72 years old. She looks 40. Like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yep.
Looks.
I saw her live a couple of years ago, and like,
I remember that.
Yeah, and she like still like that's what she looks like. I've seen it live, and I've seen it on like whatever. Like, I don't know what she's doing, what deal she made, but good for her.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right, I've got two more for you.
Unless
you've got any X-Men. A while ago, Keanu would have been a great Gambit too. That would have been.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been something.
That's a good one.
What about the Fantastic Four? Four, like Green Lantern, I don't think this is a world that he really belongs in. It's a little too fantastical for him.
I mean, maybe as a Silver Surfer, as like a CG mocap Silver Surfer.
Yep, I could see that. I landed on Namor, who's not strictly Fantastic Four,
Namor's
but that's
good,
where
he's got kind of a look for Namor. I see that.
He's got the Namor. Fantastic Four and Namor are linked, so I kind of incorporated him there. But yeah, that's. With the CG, it would be kind of a kick, to watch him actually be like the Thing because you wouldn't see him.
I thought that too, actually. I mean, really, I do think that would be cool. Because if it's a motion capture type of thing, why not?
Why not?
And he could express his like fighting style, but also then his comedic side. So I like that. I like that.
It would be the best fit. He'd be a very mellow version of the Thing, I think.
Yeah.
But Ben Grimm. But I still kind of. It would be. It was one of those choices that I'd be like, okay, I'll see how that goes.
Yeah, it'd be a little. Yeah, it'd be a little bit of a stretch, but I'd hold out for it. But I'd like to say Reed Richards for him, but I'm really holding out for John Krasinski in that role. So
me too, and I really don't think be a laugh if that was announced like before this podcast came out.
Yeah,
if so,
yeah.
fully endorsed John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. Fully endorsed. Okay, last one.
Okay.
Star Wars. Where does Keanu Reeves belong in Star Wars?
Han Solo.
Like a in between Return of the Jedi.
I mean, if we're talking like the classic sort of cast,
anywhere, it doesn't matter.
I mean, yes, I know. He could also very easily be a any sort of like Republic era Jedi, maybe a Jedi who's like on the wrong side of the law, kind of like a Qui-Gon style character. But I original trilogy era, my mind immediately goes to Han Solo just because that's the closest. I think he could totally embody that energy a lot more than I think he could embody like a Luke type of energy. In a prequel era, I could see like a not Qui-Gon himself, but someone with that sort of energy and that sort of like
he does have that kind of
swagger.
guru energy too, right?
Yeah,
at the same time. So I think that you are right to go in that direction. His name got floated or gets floated a lot for Darth Revan. It's like I was a Jedi, and then I was a Sith Lord, and now I'm a Jedi again. That like back and forth pull, because Keanu does a good job at kind of walking that like gray matter line, and so I agree with the internet on that one.
I agree.
Well, Frank, this was fun. We should do this with more actors and actresses.
I know. I like this a lot. Yeah, I like sort of seeing where they fit in all these different universes. That was a fun idea.
Oh, well, thank you, comicbook.com, for giving me the idea. Wasn't mine. Was not mine. Yeah, that was fun. I would say, which one is your favorite, but I know you hate that question, so I'm not going to ask you.
I do like Craven a lot. Craven's a good one.
Craven or the Question might be my favorites. Just
Question was awesome. Yeah,
a little out of the box. I like those. You had a good one too. Oh, Wildcat. That was also
Wildcat.
great. Those are good choices. They were all fun. That was so fun. Frank, where can the people find us and stuff?
If you head on over to beerwithgeeks.com, you can find us there. All the episodes of the show. One of the favorite features that is in my favorite features on our website is the search feature, where you can search for any topic we've ever talked about. We've done well over 300 episodes at this point, so you can search a topic and find it. If you need some fun quarantine listening in these times, you can go ahead and just search the beerwithgeeks.com site for the topic of your choice and see what pops up there. So I want to plug that. You can email us at beerwithgeeks.gmail.com. Tweet at us at beerwithgeeks on Twitter. You can support the show financially if you have the cash. You want to throw a couple of bucks our way. We want to keep these shows going. And so if you've got a $1 or $2 a month that you can toss at us at patreon.com/thoughtbubbleaudio to support the network and support this show and all the other shows on the Thought Bubble Audio Network, that would certainly mean a lot to us. But we know that not everyone can do that, especially now. Folks aren't working, and we're thinking of you if that is the case for you. But if you want to support us another way, telling a friend or reviewing us on Apple Podcasts or wherever it is you get your podcasts means a lot. The ratings and reviews help the show get promoted more and seen more and discovered more. So if you can do that, that would be a tremendous help to us too. On Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Overcast, wherever you get your podcast, if you can recommend or whatever it might be, leave a rating or review. That means a lot to us. So consider doing that. That's it. That's what I got for you.
I love it. You say things and I love it. Frank, this was wonderful. And we'll do this again, probably same pod time, same pod channel, and all that good stuff.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, until next time.
Cheers.